In the vast history of human civilization, few mysteries are as haunting as the story of the Roanoke colony, an entire settlement that vanished without a trace. It was a moment that defied logic, shook the confidence of an empire, and left behind one cryptic word carved into wood: CROATOAN. This single word would echo through centuries, symbolizing one of the greatest unsolved disappearances in history. Our story begins in the late 16th century, during the golden age of exploration. England, eager to expand its reach beyond Europe, looked westward toward the uncharted lands of the New World. In 1584, under the command of Sir Walter Raleigh, explorers arrived on the coast of what is now North Carolina. They found a series of islands surrounded by dense forests, fertile lands, and rich waterways. Among them was Roanoke Island, a place that would soon become the stage for a tragedy wrapped in silence. 2 years later, in 1585, the first English settlers arrived on Roanoke. It was a small group of men, soldiers, and artisans led by Sir Richard Grenville. Their mission was to establish England's first permanent foothold in North America. But the colony's beginnings were troubled from the start. The settlers clashed with local native tribes, food was scarce, and the heat and insects of the Carolina coast were relentless. When the ships returned to England for supplies, the colonists were left vulnerable. Some vanished, others returned home, and the settlement faltered. But the dream of a new life across the ocean didn't die. In 1587, another expedition set sail, this time with over 100 men, women, and children families, hoping to build not just a colony, but a community. They were led by Governor John White, a man of reason and determination. The new settlers rebuilt the fort, planted crops, and tried to coexist peacefully with the local tribes. For a brief moment, hope filled the air. Among the settlers was White's own daughter, Eleanor Dare, who gave birth to Virginia Dare, the first English child born in the New World. It was a moment that symbolized new beginnings and the promise of a lasting future. But fate had other plans. Supplies ran dangerously low, and relations with the indigenous tribes grew strained. In August of 1587, Governor White made the difficult decision to return to England for more provisions. He left behind his family and the settlers, promising to return as soon as possible. None could have imagined that it would be the last time he would see them. When White finally returned to Roanoke 3 years later, in 1590, the island was silent. The fort was deserted, the houses dismantled, and no trace of human life remained. There were no bodies, no signs of struggle, no smoke from distant fires. The only clue left behind was that single word carved into a wooden post: CROATOAN. Nearby, another carving, just the letters CRO, appeared on a tree. Governor White had instructed the settlers that if they ever had to move, they should carve a message indicating where they were going, and if they were in danger, they should mark a cross above it. There was no cross. To White, that meant they had moved willingly, possibly to CROATOAN Island, home to a friendly tribe that had aided the settlers before. But storms, lack of supplies, and worsening conditions prevented White from reaching the island to confirm. He returned to England heartbroken, and never saw his family or the settlers again. What happened next remains a mystery that has endured for over 4 centuries. Some historians believe the settlers integrated with local tribes, merging their lives and bloodlines into the native population. Evidence has emerged over the centuries: European-style tools found in tribal villages, oral stories of pale-skinned ancestors, and even genetic traces that suggest intermixing. It's a theory that speaks of adaptation and survival rather than destruction. Others propose darker possibilities. Some argue that the colonists were attacked by hostile tribes or died of starvation and disease in the wilderness. There are accounts from later settlers in the 1600s who reported finding abandoned fortifications and skeletons scattered in the woods, though none were ever definitively linked to Roanoke. Another theory drifts into the realm of the strange and unexplained. Some have speculated that natural disasters or even supernatural forces could have been at play: violent storms, strange illnesses, or phenomena beyond our understanding. Over time, legends grew around the lost colony. Tales of ghostly figures wandering the forests, eerie lights along the coastline, and whispers of a curse cast over the island became part of local folklore. But beneath the myths lies a simple truth. The Roanoke settlers were pioneers, ordinary people driven by hope, courage, and the dream of a new beginning. Their disappearance is not only a mystery, it is a symbol of human vulnerability in the face of the unknown. In the centuries that followed, countless expeditions tried to uncover what became of them. In the 1930s, a series of carved stones known as the Dare Stones were discovered across the southeastern United States. They were said to be messages from Eleanor Dare describing the fate of the colony, but experts soon found inconsistencies and possible forgeries, casting doubt on their authenticity. In modern times, archaeology has shed new light. Excavations on Roanoke Island and nearby Hatteras Island, once called CROATOAN, have uncovered European artifacts, metal clasps, pottery, and tools dating to the right era. Some suggest these items indicate that at least part of the colony did relocate and survive for a time among native communities, yet no definitive evidence has ever been found. The mystery endures because it reflects something deeply human, our desire to know, to fill the void left by the unknown. Every generation returns to Roanoke, hoping to solve what others could not. Satellite imaging, DNA analysis, and advanced archaeological techniques continue to search for answers, but the silence of history remains unbroken. Standing on Roanoke Island today, surrounded by whispering pines and the sound of distant waves, it's hard not to feel the weight of that silence. The modern landscape is peaceful, almost serene, but beneath its calm surface lies the memory of those who once dared to start anew. Every gust of wind that passes through the trees feels like an echo of voices long gone, a reminder of a chapter left unfinished. The story of Roanoke is more than a disappearance. It's a mirror of exploration, ambition, and human frailty. It reminds us that the pursuit of progress often walks hand in hand with risk, and that not every story finds its ending. The colonists who vanished from Roanoke may never be found, but their legacy lives on as a question carved into the heart of history, a whisper carried across time by the word CROATOAN. As night falls on the island, the ocean breeze rustles through the grass, and the shadows stretch across the sand. Somewhere in that darkness, perhaps, lies the answer buried beneath centuries of soil, waiting for someone to uncover it. Until then, the lost colony of Roanoke remains what it has always been, a haunting mystery, a story of courage and disappearance, and a reminder that even in the age of reason, some questions will never be answered.